Today we continue our investigation into the Pierre Elliott Trudeau Foundation. We've received internal documents through exclusive access to information filings with the federal government. We were able to get over 100 pages of internal emails and audit documents by asking for communications between the Trudeau family charity, the Trudeau Foundation, and a government agency, Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada. Now, we've already exposed in prior stories how communist government-linked Chinese billionaires poured money into the Trudeau Foundation after Justin Trudeau became Prime Minister. And we exposed how the foundation tried to bully National Post journalists who exposed Trudeau's alleged cash for access fundraisers for the foundation. The foundation demanded retractions and apologies for National Post reporting something the foundation knew to be true. And in the rest of these documents, we can see that Trudeau perfected abusing ethics rules long before the Federal Ethics Commissioner had to start numbering Trudeau's many ethics investigations and findings of wrongdoing just to keep them straight. Do you remember Trudeau broke ethics rules when he pressured and then fired Canada's first Indigenous female Attorney General because she wouldn't cut a sweetheart deal for corrupt Quebec engineering firm snc-lavalin? And before that, Trudeau violated ethics laws by taking a luxury vacation at the Agacon's private island, all while the Agacon Foundation was registered to lobby the federal government. Ethics and Trudeau, well, they're strangers. And it has always been that way. Let's go straight to page 145 of these access to information documents. These audit documents suggest Trudeau may have violated the rules of the Trudeau Foundation by remaining on the board for years after he became a member of Parliament. Look at this. Matters arising from the audit. Article 3 of the agreement, the foundation represents and warrants that members of the Senate or the House of Commons or natural persons elected to a provincial or territorial legislature cannot be appointed as a director or member. Yet, look at this. Our findings indicate that family member Justin Trudeau was elected as a member of the Canadian Parliament for the Papineau, Quebec riding on October 14th, 2008, and as of the last Canadian federal election, assumed office of the Prime Minister of Canada effective November 4th, 2015. As for the 2014 annual report, it stated that Mr. Trudeau has withdrawn from the affairs of the foundation for the duration of his involvement in federal politics. So this here reads like Trudeau didn't actually leave the board of the Trudeau Foundation until 2014, a year after he won the leadership of the Liberal Party and while de facto campaigning to be the Prime Minister in the following year, 2015. So 6 years late to follow the most basic conflict of interest rules since Trudeau first became an MP in 2008. On page 359, we learned that all board members have to complete an annual conflict of interest declaration to submit to the foundation's president. Look at this. In 2003, the board of directors adopted a conflict of interest policy that applies to all directors, members, staff, and committee members. All of these individuals must complete an annual declaration of conflict of interest and submit it to the president and chief executive officer of the foundation. Our conflict of interest policy is similar to the policies of other nonprofit organizations. So, did Justin Trudeau lie 6 times about breaking the rules here? Apparently, he had to file the conflict of interest declaration 6 times as a Trudeau Foundation board member after he became an MP. So, did Trudeau lie, or did they just let him get away with breaking the rules? The conflict of interest policy was adopted 11 years before Justin Trudeau resigned from the board of the foundation. Look at this. On 10 December 2014, almost 1 year prior to the most recent federal election, the foundation received a letter from Mr. Justin Trudeau informing the foundation of his formal withdrawal from its affairs during his active involvement in federal politics. Also on this very same page, we see details of how often Trudeau actually participated in foundation board meetings. Once in 2010, once in 2013, and once in 2014, and often all by phone. Literally just phoning it in. I hope he didn't charge them for a speaking fee for all of that, and I'm not joking. Look at this in black locks. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau yesterday disclosed he collected more than $1.3 million in speaking fees from private sponsors over a 6-year period from 2006 to 2012. Cabinet released the records to preempt conservative calls for wider disclosure of records. Government House Leader Pablo Rodriguez, in a letter to party leaders, detailed 125 separate payments to Trudeau totaling $1,341,500. Payments were made through Trudeau's talent agent, Speaker Spotlight of Toronto. Records did not detail expenses or speaking fees paid to Trudeau after July 1st, 2012. Trudeau typically charged as little as $3,000 to $7,500 per appearance prior to his election as MP for Papineau, Quebec on October 14, 2008. Trudeau's fee then increased to an average of $20,000 per appearance. As a member of Parliament, Trudeau collected at least $277,000 in fees. MPs at the time were paid $155,400 per year. Sponsors included Rogers Media, the Ontario Public Service Employees Union, and the Credit Institute of Canada. Friends, these Trudeaus, this family is just wringing money out of that last name any way possible. And no one ever tells them no. Justin Trudeau breached the ethics policy at his family's own charity for 6 full years. And the people around him, well, they just let him get away with it. Some things never change. Justin Trudeau just doesn't think the rules apply to him. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Our exclusive access to information investigations, like the one you just saw today, well, friends, they're time-consuming and they're very expensive, but we think it is so important that we hold our politicians to account on behalf of the people, that the people know what their politicians and what the government is doing when they think no one is watching. If you'd like to help us continue our exclusive access to information investigations, you can do that at rebelinvestigates.com.